For me, working with the family is hugely rewarding, and I feel like we're all different in our own ways. We've all got different skills to add to the business.
All four brothers, they're really close and they communicate really well. They're really into catching up out of work as well.
In February this year, we went down to Stewart Island and went on a 2-day fishing charter and solved the problems of the world and had a great AGM.
We do have very defined roles, and neither of us sort of wants each other's job. We're all quite passionate about what we all do.
We're just in communication the whole time, and we're all on the same page where quality is more important than quantity.
We're not in it for the money, we're in it to make a product that we're really proud of. It's definitely an industry that is a huge pleasure to be in, and it doesn't feel like work a lot of the time.
It all happened back as a final year medical student, and shortly after I met Chris, she gave me a book for Christmas. It was just simply entitled Wine, and I fell in love with wine, and we got married about 14 months after you gave me that book.
Yes.
So we converted our garage into a winery, and while I was working at the hospital and busy seeing patients, in between times I would be involved in making this wine.
I was 10 years old and basically coerced into coming out to the block of land at the time, and basically myself and my three brothers were all set to work.
They did the cuttings and planted them in the nursery and put the posts in.
As teenage boys, it was probably not ideally what you'd be wanting to do at that age, and we'd just try and sneak past the garage and get out. Dad would often be in there racking wine, and the classic thing would be he'd say, hold on, can you just give me a quick hand? Usually hours later, we're still stuck there in the garage. Dad's got another job and another job. So yeah, we got pretty good at stealth mode when we left the house.
91 I made in the garage, and that was the first vintage we did here. Matthew joined us for the 92 vintage.
92 and 93 were like two of the most coolest years ever recorded since we've been making wine, and that was due to a volcano erupting. So a couple of pretty challenging vintages for Matt to start off with, so it was all up from there really.
The big thing about the quality of the wine that we're making now compared to 20 years ago, has particularly been in the vineyard that the big changes have occurred. Our team out there are amazing, and they deliver us such good quality fruit.
This entire block, starting from there to the other end, is all on its own roots, which means something to growers, but maybe not to other people. So it's just grown from cuttings, it's not grafted, and to me that means it's a true expression of that fruit. There's no intervention, there's no graft at the bottom that's changing the way the nutrients go through, and that's a real privilege, and these vines are 30 years old, so that's a great raw material to be working with.
When we came here, what we wanted was this. We were looking for stones that would reflect the heat, absorb the heat during the day, and make the environment warmer. But they also add minerality to the wines, and as the grapes have got older, they've put the roots down further, you can notice that minerality, I think, in our wines. Most people thought we were totally crazy, and farmers were only too happy to sell a bit of stony land that wouldn't really support pasture very well. What lunatics, they thought.
Riesling's really the speciality of the region. Lightwood's got this specific character that's it's an orange zest, spicy kind of character, and it's totally unique to the region, which is really, really cool. We find that the longer we leave the grapes on the vines for, the more hang time that they have, the more that character comes out. People say that it's the variety that expresses the terroir, the place that it comes from, more than any other variety. You can make such a different variety of styles. I guess the one common thing with all good Rieslings is their elegance and the length that that variety can deliver. That's exciting for New Zealand because there's very few regions in the world that can grow Pinot Noir successfully. It's a very fickle variety. Martinborough was the place that started getting recognition and realising that New Zealand could make nice Pinot. It's the very bottom of the North Island, which is actually almost on the same latitude as Marlborough, and then all of the grape growing regions in the South Island seem to be capable of making delicious Pinot, but each region's got its own unique characters, which is really cool and exciting as well.
So I'm Paul, I am the youngest son. I got the least hair but all the power, which was quite nice. I kind of do all the least glamorous stuff. IT, forecasting, accounts, finance, fixing things. We are all luckily in roles that we kind of appreciate that each person does really well. So I don't have to worry about sales and I don't have to worry about winemaking because that's all in safe hands. I think there's a mutual respect and appreciation that everyone's doing their job and everyone's doing it well, and no one really needs to get concerned or micromanage other parts of the business.
We respect each other. There's no struggle for power. We've got this great legacy. Having a product that we all believe in and love, working in an industry that we're passionate about, and doing all that alongside your family, that's gold. It's hugely satisfying. I was away overseas for almost 20 years living abroad. I feel like I add a new dynamic to the family being back, a different vibe, perhaps a little bit of extra sparkle to the Donaldson family cocktail. I'm a social person, I'm outgoing, I love being with people, so the sales role was a natural fit. It's a dream come true for me.
My role is to find distribution and to work with our distribution partners and form relationships, which is super important in this industry and many others. I think working with distributors who have relationships with people who genuinely love fine wine is really important to us. We get a lot of inbound guests here as well, so it might be distributors or trade or wine writers coming to visit us here. So it's my job really to organise those visits, make sure that people get a really good snapshot of what we're about and a really genuine experience about what Pegasus Bay does and how we do it.
My role's hospitality, so I've been here for 21 or 22 years. Something that really blew me away when I started working with all the Donaldsons is just how warm and generous they are to all their staff, or to everyone really, and I really took that on as my style of hospitality as well. We've got our cellar doors so people can come and taste wines as we've always done, and then we've got our mini deli. Basically, we'll just turn up, they'll walk through the front door, we'll give them a little wine box and they can load up their goodies that they want, and then they come up to the bar and then we repackage it all in these really beautiful handmade willow baskets and pop in everything you need, little plates, knives, chopping boards.
Yeah, pop them into a basket and head out into the gardens. They can sit at a table if they want to. There's bean bags if they want a more casual, loungy sort of feel, or even a picnic rug if they want to lie out on the lawn or head down to the lake. And I think the reaction to it's been really amazing. I think people just really love the relaxed sort of format that we have. When we first bought the property, it was just a dry, flat paddock. We've obviously irrigated this area, and my mother's had a vision and a passion for gardens, and she's visited Europe and Asia and brought a lot of those ideas back to here and mixed them with, I guess, a sort of a Kiwi vibe as well.
Had a plan, but then I planted quite randomly all around the edges.
In fact, the whole winery was sited from the toilets.
Yes, it was sited from the
position of the toilets determined where the winery was going.
This gorgeous photo in the middle of nowhere. Toilet.
And everything else flowed from that, so to speak.
She is often out there on the mower or just frantically pulling out weeds, and often when visitors come through they sort of say, oh, look at that gardener, there's a big job mowing that lawn. That's mum there, that's the big boss.
We're a very recognisable brand, and I think sometimes people forget that we're just a strong family at heart, so being able to be out there on behalf of the family, meeting and dealing with customers direct is a huge advantage. It means that we can show our customers more personal attention and love. It means that we can collaborate with them, we can have them out here to the winery. All that goodwill makes for a much more enduring, lasting relationship.
I think that we're all on the same page in terms of the future. With the rest of my family, none of us want to get any bigger. As a producer, we just want to keep making better and better wine.
By 2008, we sort of decided that we had hit the volume that we thought was a comfortable volume, gave us some good economies of scale, but also was about as big as we wanted to get. I've never seen people get much bigger than that in the wine industry and maintain quality.
The vision that my parents had was that it would be something that would be passed on to future generations, and I guess our hope is very much that that will happen. I was never put pressure on me or any of my brothers to join the business. We all chose to because we saw a great opportunity. One of my sons is showing quite a bit of interest at the moment. I mean, who knows? There's definitely a hope that will happen at some point. We aim to be really authentic in what we do, so by that I mean that we try very hard not to be influenced by any sort of outside factors such as chasing medals or high scores from writers or what might be sort of fashionable or trendy at the time. Our thoughts are that there's only one place in the world that's Waipara, North Canterbury. There's only one place that has the same climate and aspect and soil, and mixing that with our own sort of personal philosophies. And so to us it's really important to produce a wine that really reflects all of that.
It's just satisfying, taking something all the way from primary product all the way through, and when you get the wine in the bottle a couple of years down the track, or a year down the track if it's a Riesling, when that screw cap goes on and you're happy with the wine, it's a massive release of serotonin.